Morning everyone, great day out here on the lake. Fall feed up is on. I was out here the other day with boys and they were starting to move up shallow, move the bait back into the creeks, starting out the creek mouths, and I saw some pretty good bait balls pretty far back in the creeks into some of the larger creek arms in the lake, so it's definitely starting. So I figure I'd come out here early. They're definitely active this morning, so let's get on them. I'm seeing a lot of good blow-ups through here. One of those times that it's going to be chucking and winding. Keep the boat moving. Just wanted to see what they're doing. See if they're shallow, see if they're deep. There's a stump right over there that I just brought this by. See if they're holding on that sort of stuff. See if they're holding off on the little ledges, off these points type stuff, little ambush spots. Or if they're just following the schools. The cool thing about this live scope is I'm going to throw my Whopper Plopper out if I see one on the bottom. Right, one down there at 15 feet. I'm going to see if it reacts. Kind of see how far these bass are willing to go. Oh, it didn't come up. So let's go down to him. So there's a brush pile down there. Some bait around it. Oh, there's a bass around it too. Now we got some wind breaking up the surface of the water. That'll make it harder for the bass to get a really good look at our baits. That should really help us. Looks like this is a pretty shallow flat right here, but it extends out over here and the point goes out. It looks like there's some bass holding off where that point kind of drops off. So I'm just sample the water a little bit up here with this donkey rig. Look like two schooling baits, two little schooling minnows. Give them something to chase. So I did see some activity over here earlier, but could have completely uptaken the surface. Definitely think there's some bass out deeper. What I really want to see this time of year is bass schooled up in little wolf packs of like 3 or more. So that means they're on the hunt, they're on the prowl, looking to feed, and also it gives them some competition. Like I've said before, they're like toddlers when you give them a snack or like a brand new shiny new toy. They don't want to share it, especially if someone else is around. So if there's other bass around giving them competition, then they'll just come over and smoke the bait without even thinking about it, just because they don't want the other ones to have the chance at it. Looks like there's a bass chasing around some bait fish over here. Let's see what it looks like here deeper in the creek. Let's see what it looks like further out. It looks like here's some bass under a ball of bait fish. So those bass are probably active, but they're also probably 40 feet deep or so. I don't really want to wait that long. I'm gonna find some bass that are up and shallow feeding on some bait fish. What you can do this time of year, just any lake you're on, just hop some points. See what's out there. Fish one point. See what they're doing. If they're not active, then go to another point. Just hopscotch around. Ooh. Ooh. A little bit deeper than I want, but there's a nice little school bass down there. Drop this tasty morsel right down to him. So this is some video game fishing. Looks like they see it. Moving over under it. No, I'm not too far away at all. See if we can see him come up and come over and hit it. That was a carp because that was more of a jump up and a splash. Oh, he had it on the fall. Like a good one too. I got him sideways. No, looks like a good one. Hey, not a bad bass at all. See the fish, Coda? That's no spook. Woo! Little sharp little sandpaper teeth. Alright, they're feeding up well. See what I tell you? They just get so competitive with each other that they just can't stand not being the one to get your lure. Especially with these guys with little sharp sandpaper teeth. I'm gonna check my line a bunch. Spoons, what you want to do, you want to hop it up, let it drop down, then keep an eye on your line, because your line will be tight while it's falling, but then once it drops down, it'll go slack. And then I'll know if you saw that pop in my line. I was just in a rhythm, you know, up, let it fall down, because it'll flutter. And then that time when I dropped it down, I saw boom, and I was like, that's not the bottom. It's still a few feet off the bottom. Ooh, that's a better spot. Golly, he wasn't coming off. He wasn't coming off ever. Wanted all of that. Yeah, that's a nice little spot. I'll see you. Woo! You know what? One bass is a fluke. Two bass make a pattern. And typically, gotta be honest with you, I hate fishing deep. But that's one thing I love about these spoons is they take no time getting to the bottom. This is probably a 5/8 or 3/4 ounce spoon. Get it to the bottom, and then you're actively working it the entire way back. And also they just hammer it because it's just the perfect size. Looks exactly like a dying shad off the bottom, especially 40 feet or so, where the light penetration isn't quite as good. Maybe starting to get a little dark. Got the wind roughing up the top of the water to kind of make everything shimmery and shiny down below. Low light conditions. They think it's just the perfect imitation of a shad. And it's a easy meal for them because a little dying shad hopping up off the bottom, then fluttering back down. Just can't get easier for them. And now it looks like there's about 3 over here, so that's where my next cast is going to be. And what this is this is just the long side of where the channel drops off. And this is a pretty steep bank over here. You can find spots like this all over every lake. So it's just an easy place for them to sit up, watch the bait fish come in and out, and they have to come around these points. So it gives them good ambush spots. They can slide up shallow if they want to be shallow and pin the bait fish against the hard cover and the hard structure, or they can slide out deep to where they're more comfortable, probably a little bit cooler because the water temp's still pretty warm, still 87.6. So we probably are wanting to stay in some of the cooler water deep, which when that water temp really starts dropping into a more comfortable range, probably around, I don't know, upper 70s or so, to where it can hold oxygen a lot better for them. That's really when it's going to be game on. Feel like I got a hit there. There we go. I swiped at it a few times, just didn't get it. Alright, so he got it under the belly, so he was probably just swiping at it. A lot of times bass will swipe at their food to kill it, make it easier target. Number 3 in the boat. Got a little fat belly though. Golly. Been eating well with all these shad coming in. Alright. See you, buddy. And check your line every couple, or every fish ideally, but if you got any nicks or cuts in it, retie. And what you can do is, if you know that there's a long drop off in one area, you can just scoot out, set right up on the drop off, and then just hop your lure, hop your spoon or your shaky head, or whatever you're wanting to work deep, your drop shot. Just work it along that drop off. Little spotted guy was following at that time. Another spotted guy. Skinny guy. Oh, that's a largemouth. See you, largie. Oh yeah, that's what I want to see. A little wolf pack of them. Let's see how they react. Oh, so a bunch of bass staking out here. They're following that. Alright, it's going up out here. There we go. Oh, big old bluegill. Nice little bluegill. Not the preferred species. You know what I think? I think they're still deep with this water still pretty warm. 86.9 degrees water temp up here, so it looks like it's cooled down kind of on this end. Still got a little ways to go though, I think. Bluegill. Dirty little butt biters. Oh, another little bluegill guy. A little big for his britches, if you ask me. Alright, came back into this creek arm. Look like there's a decent amount of fish in here. So we're gonna see. Alright. Tossed in the school bait and got one. Goodness, nice little fat guy. Let's see if we can find some up in these shade trees. Oh, good Lord. Those are some of the biggest spots I've ever seen. Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna come back over here. Those spots were huge. Absolute gigantors. They might have been 4-pound spots. Those big ones will come after a Whopper, Plopper, Coda. Okay, still not quite in the mood for the Whopper, Plopper, Coda. Got some decent sized spots playing with them. Alright, here's some bass actively feeding on bait. So what we have now, we have this bank that comes out to this point, goes to the other side. The other side's pretty slow tapering, but this side has a steep drop off. We're already over 23 feet of water. I saw a lot of bait with bass around it at the bottom, probably around 30 to 40 feet. Which that's a pretty good area for them to be around. You know, we're just starting to get into the fall feed up. Water's still pretty toasty, so they probably still got to hang kind of deep to get into the area where the oxygen is really well dissolved into the water and where the water is cool enough to hold that oxygen. Because remember, the hotter the water is, the less its ability to hold dissolved oxygen, which, you know, the bass need oxygen just like us. And unlike us, they don't just get to swim around and have oxygen wherever they go. They gotta sometimes find that oxygen, but that helps us pattern them. And I'm seeing a lot of activity all up and down this bank here. Because these steep banks are pretty good for them, because they can go down, you know, get really oxygenated and then come up and pin the bait schools against the ground, you know, against the banks, so that they have nowhere to go, so they get a little bit of everything that they want and need. And you can tell by those chunky little spots that I've been catching today. They are eating very well. And as we've seen, there's been quite a few follows that I've gotten that they were right on it, but they just didn't really commit to it. And the reason I think that is we're still in, I mean, over here 90-degree water temps, so there's just not that much oxygen in the upper parts of the water column. I think that they weren't chasing the lure just because, you know, they have to expend a bit of energy and oxygen to do so, you know, working their muscles to really shoot out after it. And well, I don't think sprinting while holding my breath really sounds fun, so I'm sure the bass aren't too fond of it either. I think it's just a matter of just a week or two. This is still, we're still in late August right now. I think it's just a matter of a week or two for everything to start cooling down. We're starting to get cooler days. Still got a few hot ones coming up, but getting a few cooler days, and that makes all the difference. It really cools down, because you think about it also, it's going to cool down the top of that water column first. So that starts cooling down. It can hold more oxygen, especially if we get some windy days that really stirs up the water. That'll get some oxygen into it. We have all the vegetation, all the shallow vegetation that will put more oxygen into the upper parts of the water column, and then that just sucks the bass to it, because, you know, all of a sudden it becomes the most oxygenated part of the water column, and the bait seems to already be there, mostly for safety, and so they can get away and hide under cover and in the grass and stuff. The bait's already there. We just need a little bit more oxygen content in that upper part of the water column, and it's gonna be game on. Some little spots are falling up. All right. Got hooked up on. Sorry, the camera wasn't rolling. Another healthy little guy. Golly, he's fat for a little guy. Was fishing in this area. Was just gonna move past the graphing, but came over here because steep drop off, and golly, there was so much bait around here. And super steep drop off there, up there at the bank. Just couldn't help myself. All right, well, the sun's getting high and hot, and Coda's panning pretty hard, so I'm gonna get him home, get him in the shade, get him cooled off. Not bad for a morning fishing though. Had a great time. You saw the spoon ruled the day. They were deep, but and we saw some big uns trying to come shallow. Like I said, I think that we just need a little bit more cooler temperatures for the upper water column, so it can hold more dissolved oxygen, so those big girls can get really feisty. Can't wait. It further confirms that the fall feed is almost here. It's the end of August. If you want to schedule a fishing trip with me, please do so quickly, because my schedule's starting to fill up. A lot of people are wanting to get on the fall bite because it is insane when it really gets going. September, October are the best times of the year for that. November, it starts to peter off and they start going into their winter haunts. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it with anyone you think might enjoy it. And until next time, take care, tight lines. We'll catch you later.
I'm gonna take my boat to the honey hole. I'm gonna fish until I can't no